This is back to 99, talking to you live from the void. The void is this blank screen. It's on purpose. Don't fucking worry about it. Just listen to me. Something very bad is going to happen, will happen. This was the worst binge experience I've ever had. The show is 8 episodes. It was horrible to get through. It was horrible to watch. It was horrible to fucking witness. I don't know how this got made. Literally, I understand. Everyone was on set. They had cameras, a distribution deal. But I'm saying, how did this get greenlit? And I guess I understand that too. Maybe they said, hey, we need it for a certain budget, certain whatever. There were parameters that they met. But none of those parameters satisfied the artistic imperative to say, why is this being made? Why is this story important? Why is this story the best story we can tell? And they didn't ask any of those questions when they were approving this entire show. If this show gets a season 2, and they didn't write it where it's, season 2, but if it did get a season 2, I'm going to riot. Because there's hella Netflix shows that they canceled. I better not ever see this premise sequelized, because I'll be pissed. The main actress of this series, whatever she's done in her life to get to this point, I sincerely say congratulations. She's pursuing her dreams. She's doing things. So I mean, from that aspect, I can't knock it. Just the hustle side of it to get this opportunity. Watching her acting, there were 0 layers to what she did or what she's shown that she can do based off of this show. Everything was the same. The only thing that varied in her performance was her outfit and her hair and her makeup. But her being exasperated, her being sexy, her being in love, all these things are the same. Suffice it to say, I was not impressed by that perspective or whatever she was doing. Maybe, and obviously, if she keeps acting long enough, she'll get, more comfortable. And not that she okay. If she acts long enough, she might find a lane for herself, or she might, hone her skills to where it's like, okay. But for right now, I didn't enjoy it. There's a initial part of the show where you think something like Get Out is happening with the family and her, which was, it was familiar, kind of eye rolling, but it was something that you're like, okay, well, if you're gonna give me this then. The show pivots and says, ha ha ha, it's not that kind of show. The show, it becomes about this curse. Hated it. Hated everything about it. I don't know who, could enjoy the show. And on a certain level, I have FOMO. I wish I feel like this is a show for like, mm, I don't know if it's for wealthy people or people, getting married at family owned mansions and whatever. Because the melodrama, none of it rang true to me, to what I think would really happen. Take the groom's mom trying to die just after the wedding because she's sick and she has a son that's a doctor and they can get the medicine to stab her or, euthanize her. But all that shit was vapid and stupid. The idea of, you know, pampering the son to where, and I guess it happens. But his whole melodrama was stupid. Everything he fucking said, everything he did annoyed me, you know? And speaking of this actor, he was in White Lotus, I think the second season, and he essentially played the same character, which is um, a Caucasian young male who could ostensibly work in tech, from a, he seems intelligent. He has all those kind of things that you would kind of, not stereotypes, but those kind of traits you would associate from a person that went to college and they're going to buy a brownstone in Manhattan or something like that. So he plays well-to-do Caucasian guy, like on the surface, well-to-do. He plays that pretty well. But I'm like, does he have any acting range? Can he play a soldier? Can he play a cowboy? What's going on here? By the time the show gets to the last episode, I felt like I went through a lot, bro. Like I went through, uh, and none of it was good. The if the writing, this is how I'll sum it up. The very first episode, they go to a rest stop on the top of a mountain in the snow, and it's cold outside. Hell no. They go up there, it's empty, there's a car with the baby in it. They go check these bathrooms. Hello, hello. Ooh. We're not doing that separately. We're doing that together. She says, you just break the car window. I'm gonna drive to the nearest wherever. She gets to wherever she says it was 20 miles from wherever he was. In the cold, on top of the mountain, in a sketchy ass situation. She didn't even wait to see if he could break the window to get in the car, but even if he got in I guess the car was running, maybe. So there was some heat in there, I don't know. But no, we're breaking the window, taking the baby with us into town. The police and whoever can call, figure that out in the morning. But I'm not driving down a snowy hill where my car could roll over, or anything could happen, and my boyfriend doesn't have service and he's just sitting on top of the mountain. Hell, if anything, break the window, take the car, y'all both go down the mountain together. A lot of scenarios other than me just standing in this place in the cold. Now, if there's no snow, maybe. But in the snowy, just wintertime, standing outside, hell no. So to sum it all up, I would never, ever fucking recommend this show. I would never watch this show again. There were nothing redeeming about this show other than the fact that Ted Levine's character, he tried to do everything for his wife, and she was still disappointed in him. And I said, damn, that's kind of lore accurate, because the idea is he's rich, all these things. She tells him, like, one of the last things she says to him is like, "You took my story away," and all these kind of things. So, but I was just like, now that's like one kernel of truth in there, because the idea is like, never do too much, because it's hard for people to be grateful. So whether and that's, I'm not gonna get too deep in the woods on that, but he worked hard for a great lifestyle, still wasn't enough. So regardless of the lifestyle that you can provide, at the end of the day, the easiest thing for another human to do is say, but I'm not satisfied. So take that for what it is. Becton out.